So today is day 15 and today's ancestral prayer is going to be about releasing negativity. So what is it that we mean by negativity? So as we course through lifetimes, we pick up all kinds of responses, many of them unwanted, when we are faced with difficult life situations. We learn how to cope and we don't know what we are doing most of the time, and we just somehow push through life. We don't live very consciously. You see, the thing is, we live life in a way where life is throwing itself at us. And when life throws itself at us, in the sense that it throws some difficult situation at us, we learn to, either ward it off in some way, but it will come back again. Or if we are not able to keep it at bay or ward it off, then when it just descends upon us, some difficult situation descends upon us, we somehow cope and we push through and we do all kinds of things. So I'm going to tell you a little story to help you understand this. There was a king and he was traveling through a forest. And now what happened was, while he was going, a dwarf, maybe 1.5 feet in height, he appeared before the king and he defied the king. And the king looked at the dwarf and he thought, oh, come on, I'm not going to fight this. This is not even below my dignity to do anything about it. And so the king just ignored that dwarf, said whatever he had to say, and he went on his way. The king went on his way. And after some time, when he had gone along, again this dwarf appeared, but this time he was not 1.5 feet tall, he was 3 feet tall. Again the king looked at him and decided that no, I shouldn't be killing this dwarf. I shouldn't do that. And so he gave the dwarf a telling off, and he gave the dwarf a warning and he went on his way. The next time, now the king is moving along and this dwarf reappears. And this time the dwarf is 6 feet tall. And he is not only 6 feet tall, he is quite hefty. And now it's going to be difficult for the king to actually kill this dwarf. You get the gist of the story. And these stories are metaphorical. All the stories in our culture are metaphorical. The whole idea behind this story is that when a situation is, let's say, small, there are ways that you can learn to completely resolve that situation. But if you do not resolve it and you just deal with it, superficially, it will reappear in a bigger form, and then it will be more difficult to deal with that. And if you just leave that, then it will come up in a very big way, and there is no other way out than resolving it from the root. Suppose there were to be a tiny thorny shrub in your garden and you just left it that way, and one day it grew into a sizable shrub, you'd probably tell your gardener to hack it down. And he does just that. He takes a pair of garden shears and he hacks it down. And you can't see that thorny shrub for a good many days. But then the root is there. So now what happens? After about 20 days, It will show up, and before long it will become a huge thing. Similarly, negativity is something that is all the time brewing within us because we are doing some things unconsciously and we are not aware of it. We consume so much of social media. We want to be good, kind human beings, so we will listen to everybody's horror stories of what's happening in their lives. And we feel we are good human beings by, clucking at the right time and making the right sounds, and then we are doing all that out of politeness, or we might really be interested in it, but we are consuming all that, and that stuff is going to go inside and it's going to make a place in our mind. And we do not know how to draw clear boundaries. Okay, so there are things like this. We do not know how to draw clear boundaries, and we do not know how to get rid of negativity. And we might watch something, happening to a neighbor or a very close friend or a relative or somebody, and then we may have that fear that, oh, that should not happen to me. And that is when the seed is sown, and we are not going to do anything to take it out. And before long, it will shape up into some life experience and show up in our life. So we have to be very conscious. We have to go to life rather than allowing life to come to us. When we are unconscious, life comes to us. When we are conscious and we know exactly what we are doing, now we can go to life. And we can have that life where we are living very consciously. So today's session is about releasing negativity accumulated over generations, even in the course of this lifetime, from childhood, whatever we've gathered. We are watching social media, we are watching TV for entertainment, crime patrol, all kinds of horror, serials and frightening things. And so some things have just become normal for us. And that's because a lot of stuff is accumulated within us. And today we are going to learn how to let go of that. And we are going to make a prayer to our ancestors to let go of that. Ancestors, bearers of light, and the guardians of wisdom. Today I come to ask for a full and final release of all the darkness that I have accumulated through lifetimes, darkness that has completely dimmed my light and made me forget the truth of who I am. I ask for myself, and I ask for everybody else who is listening to this now or will listen to this at a later time. I ask and I am given. I call upon you to cleanse, heal and protect me, my children and my family. Remove all negativities that bind and harm, all the psychic darkness that holds me in its grip, and everything that is bringing suffering, misfortunes, loss, pain and disease. I ask and I am given. Mend all the holes in my energy system through which my energy leaks and drains, and you fill the space within me and around me with love, light and healing energies. I ask and I am given. May I give up the habit of mental drifting and become more productive, I ask and I am given. May I stop internalizing negative suggestions made by well-meaning others, and may I comfortably release those suggestions. I ask and I am given. May I stop absorbing, mirroring and reflecting the negative emotions of people around me, and may I radiate peace. I ask and I am given. May I stop dwelling on past mistakes and let go of self-doubt and self-criticism, which prevent me from making progress, and may I acknowledge and appreciate myself for things I am able to do. I ask and I am given. May I stop myself from constantly consuming negative news, toxic social media content, or violent entertainment which reinforce a negative mindset, and may I dwell on the simple beauties of life. I ask and I am given. May I release all grudges that I am holding on to, which only fuel my negative emotions, creating a never-ending cycle of bitterness, and may I be kind and compassionate. I ask and I am given. May I release the need to constantly compare myself with others, which only foster feelings of inadequacy, envy and frustration, and may I see my own worth and value. I ask and I am given. I ask and I am given. I have received and I give thanks.